Okay, shalom, shalom, kwam yashala, koholoyimla, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakahakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, that by the Spirit taught us his beautiful truth, and just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Aqua that's out here sincerely keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. Shachachlan, the WAP just coming at you with another quick lesson. Pray that it's edifying by the Spirit. I'm going to try and keep it classy, smooth, you know, because these are the types of stories that the so-called white man doesn't want to come out. They don't want to be seen for what they really are and what they've always been towards you so-called colored people. So as you can see, I put in whites only, right? And this is pretty much what popped up, you know what I'm saying, as far as images. And this wasn't that long ago. This is like a generation or so ago. White only this. White only, you know, restrooms, water fountains, and whatever. I mean, just common spaces that they had, you know, but because one of their blessings was they was given the fatness of the earth. That's how that goes back to Esau, Edom. That's their original biblical name, Esau, Edom. And when Isaac blessed Esau, one of the things that he blessed him with in his particular kingdom, which is this kingdom right now, he blessed him with the sword. That's the reason why this guy got military posts every damn where. You know, that sword is that, you know, that modern day warship, that modern day Black Hawk helicopter, your gun, your shotgun, your rocket launcher. You know, this man, no one can out-weapon this man. This man, that's one of the things that he was blessed with, the sword and the fatness of the earth. That's the reason why he has the best of, you know, the lands everywhere. He sits around the most pristine lakes and waters, and, you know, they have acres and acres and acres of the best land because this is their kingdom. Now, things are about to change, though, and that's what I wanted to really touch on in this particular lesson, because things are starting to flip. Those curses that were on us are now starting to be reversed and go on to the so-called white man, because, you know, Galatians 6 and 7, it talks about the Lord is not mocked. That a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And that goes for their nation. The nation of the so-called white people have sown nothing but cruelty towards the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. So when they get a little bit of it ditched back at them, they can't believe it. They absolutely can't believe it. So let me go into the story here real quick. Okay, so it says, what's this guy? You can kind of get a look at him. This weirdo right here. Famed environment. Let me just go back into it. Famed environmentalist who studied at Berkeley slams woke colleges, dangerous anti-white racism that saw Caucasian students banned from communal areas of person of color student co-op. So the thing now, this wasn't that long ago when they was doing, and they still do it to this very day. It's certain places you can't, you know, you're so-called black, Hispanic, or Native American, you know, in certain places you can't go, man, and be around these so-called white people. Hell, you can barely drive through their neighborhoods. If you walking or driving through their neighborhoods, they'll call the police on you and say, hey, there's a suspicious man or woman I see walking or driving through here. You see? I'm telling you, they're hypocritical. Okay, so it says, a famous University of California, Berkeley alumnus condemned an off-campus co-op that banned white guests from entering common areas of the house to avoid white violence. Hey, but this is what it's done come to. Because being around so-called white people, let's just be honest, man, with so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, there's dangers to that. It's just that simple, man. That's just the truth. And see, the scripture says, never trust thine enemy. Roughly paraphrased, and stay away from the man that has the power to kill, because these people have the power to kill you and can get off. But see, as of late, a lot of videos been coming out on TV. A lot of news stations are picking up on all this violence. A lot of news stations are starting to point out. See, they're starting to tell on each other. They're starting to tell. See, these news stations don't care no more. If it's a good story that they feel like will get them a lot of viewers, they just greedy for viewers. So they'll tell on their own people. Before, they didn't used to do that. They kind of water it down a little bit. But see, with this day and age of video, when you're being video recorded, they can see you and they can actually hear you. You can't you can't fight that, man. And that's what has been going on quite a bit lately, as you know, with the so-called white, and especially the internet. the info wars. People are putting out all these stories. People are going back into history and pulling up stuff that a lot of people didn't know about, and then it goes viral on a damn Facebook page or a Instagram page or somebody's TikTok or something. You know, certain atrocities that the so-called white man was doing to the so-called blacks back in slavery. A lot of that stuff is coming to the forefront now because the Lord, he requires that which is past, roughly paraphrasing, man. Okay, so let's get a little bit more. David Seaborg, 73, an environmentalist who graduated with a master's degree from the university in 1974, told the dailymail.com the woke mentality at the school is dangerous and that it is a recent development that is gaining traction. Why is it gaining traction? Because that's the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. He's starting to wake the children of Israel up, and the children of Israel are starting to really realize that they have enemies. Because before, our people were just running around here, you know, just laughing, giggling with them, you know, bowing to them. Every time you see them in public, you change your whole damn voice up, your whole demeanor. You turn into a little nigger white person real quick to appease them. All that stuff is changing. It says things were different then. Seaborg, founder and president of the World Rainforest Fund, said there wasn't the anti-white stuff you have now. Of course it wasn't. In the 1970s, shit, y'all had pushed Negroes into ghettos. You know, Jake had a little music. You know, Jake was just doing their thing. It was kind of somewhat, you know, kind of in a sense, just enjoying somewhat of a little bit of freedom. You know, it wasn't like they was being hung no more, you know, even though that stuff was still going on. But I'm saying, you know, Jake was kind of like in a more comfortable little state where they was around each other and not around so-called white people. And they was kind of flourishing, you know. It says, it is widespread and it has a lot of support among students in the liberal community, he added. Not just in Berkeley, but also nationwide. Seaborg, who supports the Democratic Party, also said he believes the woke stuff will upset a lot of the white voters that Democrats want to sway. Man, look, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, y'all running around out here voting for these clowns. He's looking just looking. Let me just stop, man. Let me keep it classy, man. The criticism came after the co-op named the person of color theme house put up a new list of rules for the dwelling, revealing that occupants were told many POC moved here, people of color. That's basically what POC is. When actually you're Israelites. There's no such thing. There's no nationality. There's no damn nationality called people of color. There's no nationality of black. There's no nationality of African and American. Two continents named after two so-called white men. But these are those bywords that goes off into Deuteronomy chapter 28 that are placed on our people. This is one of the curses that the Lord placed on us, but he's starting to wake us up now. See, these bywords are not going to work no more like that because the Lord is starting. Hey, I see Israelites everywhere now. You'll see them with fringes on, and you'll talk to the average person. They'll actually tell you, yeah, I'm an Israelite. They know now. Even amongst, you know, the 2/3 or whoever. You'll see, you know, Jake out here just acting a goddamn fool, a complete clown. He'll tell you an Israelite these days. So the Lord is waking us up in the land of our captivity and showing us who we really are. You see what I'm saying? And that awakening is starting to disrupt the so-called white man's world. Because when they had us in the dark, everything was fine. Let them niggas think whatever they want to think. They can be Muslims, Asiatic, whatever you want to be. Just don't be an Israelite. Just don't let them get that information. Right? It says, let me start that back. The criticism came after the co-op named the person of color theme house put up a new list of rules for the dwelling, revealing that the occupants were told many people of color moved here to be able to avoid white violence and presence. See, Jake don't even want to be around you because they understand the hatred, man, that you have for us as a people. You see, they want peace, man. We need away from you people. And then when Jake want to try and, you know, get away, no, that's right. No, why don't you want to be around us? Before you didn't fucking want us around you. You done all your redlining with the realty companies and done all this stuff, man. Just a generation or so ago, like literally, like my granddad, man, he grew up in a generation of whites only this, whites only that. And we ain't gonna even talk about the sundown towns where they had these big ass signs up saying that if you was in their town after the sun went down, you forfeited your life, man. This wasn't long ago. That's like where I live at. They got this street called 8 Mile, which Eminem done the movie. 8 Mile, 8 Mile. That was a whole. That wasn't even a street then. That was a fucking big ass brick wall where they built a community where the people couldn't see over to the Detroit side because it was just that ghetto, so to speak. And if you got caught over there after the sun went down, they'll fuck you up. So 8 Mile has a very racist history to it, man. See, a lot of people don't know that. They just kind of watch, oh, Eminem, he's the greatest. He's the movie. But what they're not telling you is you pass over that street and you go towards 9 Mile, 10 Mile, 11 Mile, 12 Mile, or you're going straight into so-called white people land, and they don't want you there. They don't want you there. You go on down 15 Mile, 16 Mile, 17, 18. Hey, that's one of the richest counties in America. Them so-called white people do not want you there. That's a place where you won't see sidewalks at. So if they see you walking along the street, they're going to call the police on you. You in a different type of community when they don't have sidewalks. They don't want no buses running through their shit. They for real. They don't allow no buses like public service buses. They don't no. They don't want no. They actually tell you that if you're not able to afford a car, you shouldn't be in that area. And they'll tell you that straight up. Okay, so it says it says they moved there to avoid violence and presence. So respect their decisions of avoidance if you bring white guests. So he's in his 70s. He can't believe that you Negroes will actually say or do some shit like that because he didn't grow up in that time period. When he got his bachelor's or whatever from Berkeley, that's when the so-called white man was out here still living it up. Now it's the stuff that they've done is starting to backfire. Look at this dude, man. He looking like what's the guy, Mr. Rogers, man? Just looking like a extra weirdo, Mr. Rogers, man. And they got a video on it here, the POC tour. While the student house aims to have an inclusive environment, the rules specifically state white guests are not allowed in common places, according to the list, which was posted on Reddit. The accommodations, which is located close to Berkeley's campus, is a 5-story, 30-room home that can house up to 56 students. The house is owned by a private landlord. But the rules, which were leaked on social media, have caused outrage, with many people slamming the restrictions as racist. As others came forward and revealed their experience living in the co-op. One mixed race Reddit user, which is there's no such thing as mixed race. The so-called white man came up with that crap too. There's no such thing as biracial, multiracial. You are what your dad is, man. Whatever your dad is, that's what you are. Your dad carries the seed. And whatever your dad is, that's scriptural. You can go into the book of Numbers and get that. Chapter 1. And you'll see that your genealogy or your race goes by whatever your dad is. It says, one mixed race Reddit user who claims to have lived at the house said that their presence as a light-skinned person was not well received well. But see, when it comes to the Israelites, we look like everybody. There are Israelites that look like so-called white people. There are Israelites that look like so-called Chinese people. There are Israelites that look like so-called Japanese, because our people were scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. And wherever that man sowed that seed at, or he laid down with that woman, it could have been a North Korean lady. It's plenty of when our men went to war. A lot of our men went to World War I, World War II, Vietnam War. Wherever they went, on those weekends, they would party, man, and go and have sex with those women. And then those little babies would be Israelites. But as time goes on, the color and the look just fades away, because as generation goes on, that person, say they have a son, and a so-called black man from America, he goes to Vietnam War, has sex with a Vietnamese lady. They have a son. That son comes out looking somewhat Vietnamese, but he's kind of got some color too. But if he goes on to marry another Vietnamese woman when he grows up, then that color is gonna phase. That look is gonna phase. Then so on, and say they have a son. Then that son grows up and have sex with a Vietnamese woman. Then after generation, 3 to 4 generations, it only really take about 2 generations. 3 to 4 generations, that Israelite is going to come out looking like a Vietnamese person, but they're still Israelites. And you can tell an Israelite because, you know, it's just the spirit of them. Their spirit bear witness with the Holy Spirit. They have salt, you know. We're the salt to the earth. They have that swag. So there's no such thing as mixed race people, man. But let's see. Let's get some more. Said the light-skinned person wasn't where will receive. It says, they said house members called them slurs, and they were even not allowed to let my dad enter the house because he's white. Okay, so this person right here that's saying that they're mixed race, you're an Edomite. You're not an Israelite. See? Because if your dad is actually white, then that would make you an Edomite. So see, that's where that, see, the so-called white man, he see, this guy, the Lord is not the author of confusion. What this man does is he pushes nothing but confusion. That's why this place is called Babylon the Great, man. The Tower of Babel, just confusion, man. He didn't confuse the whole world into this theory or this fact or this knowledge or their science of saying that you're a mixed person. No, you are what your dad is. It's always been that way. Because if you look up the terms biracial or multiracial, you look up those terms are not that old, and it comes from America. Before, everybody already knew, hey, you what your dad is, or you just knew. That's from biblical time all the way up until the so-called white man started to rule. You think these people, you got the smarts to create a rocket to go into space, but you are not smart enough to know that the seed line goes through the father? That is insane. So you know that it's just a brainwashed mass. This man wants to keep everybody in the dark as to who he really is, because that's Esau, man. Esau, Edom. It says the house was set up, and they probably was kind of feeling that vibe too, because Esau got a different spirit than us so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They just got a different spirit. Look at this guy, man. Well, hold on, let me look at this guy. That's an Edomite right there. You can just look. You can just tell, man. But like I said again, we don't go by colors, because there are Israelites that look like this man. There's Israelites that look like this man. And there are chocolate colored Edomites. Let me go back, though. It says the house was set up as a part of Berkeley Student Cooperative, a program designed to bring affordable housing to students in California Bay Area and aims to provide housing to low-income, first-generation immigrants and marginalized students of color. According to the rules, people that live there should avoid bringing parents, family members that express bigotry, because queer, black, and indigenous members should not have to avoid common spaces because of homophobic and racist parents. But see, they gonna, of course, mix that in. They gonna always blend these Edomites, carnal or fleshly, sexually, all this shit. They gonna always put that with you so-called Negroes, black rights. You blacks, you should understand the discrimination that a queer person would go through, because look at how they treated you. As if their people were hung on trees, man. As if their people were shipped in on boats, pissing and shitting on each other, man, being thrown over to the sharks. You know what I'm saying? After they died and all this other, it's ridiculous. And the so-called blacks, they accept this crap. I don't understand, like, why would you accept a person's sexuality? They want to be what they want to be. Let them be what they want to be. But why would you allow them to put their shit with all the stuff that our ancestors went through, man? It's amazing. But this is this is that cunningness of the so-called white man. This man is a cunning hunter, man. Okay, but anyway, we've gotten enough. I've been kind of roughly paraphrasing scriptures, but Let's get this Galatians 6 or 7, the one that I quoted. Yeah, it's coming back to bite Esau in the ass, man. Galatians 6 and 7, and it reads, be not deceived, Yahweh is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. So what did they sow? They sowed this right here. Now they're starting to get that fruit. It took a minute. You know what I'm saying? See, certain fruits and vegetables or trees, they grow and produce fruit at different times. See, you can plant some cucumbers. You're going to get some results in, month, 2 months, whatever period of time or whatever. But when you plant an apple tree, it's going to take a long damn time for you to get an apple off that tree, man. You 15, 20 years, man, for that tree to kick in and actually produce some apples. You see, sometimes longer than that. Some trees, it take, a little longer. But this particular seed that they've sown, as far as whites only, and they're gonna reap that seed. They're gonna reap the fruit of the seed that they sown, as far as like that slavery too. That slavery that they done to Jake, they're gonna reap that too. Matter of fact, let's get that. They're gonna reap that too. They're gonna reap all the stuff that they've done, man. See, you think that they sold you white Jesus. You think that they got all these scholars that study the Bible. You think that some of them would have said, hey, you know what? We need to back off of doing what we're doing to these people, because that we're going to reap that one day. And I think it was a quote from Andrew Jackson, or one of those presidents, that said that if there's really a God, we're going to pay for what we've done. Oh, yeah, you're going to pay. Revelation 13, I'm going to start at 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity. See, this is a sowing and reaping hookup right here, man. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints, and that's what we're patiently and faithfully waiting on, because this is coming. This is coming. See, you so-called whites. Y'all led us into captivity, and you think that you're not going to go into captivity. See, this is how proud these people are. They think that their little kingdom, all this shit they doing, is going to go on forever. And that's not the case, man. The Lord is coming soon to tear this place apart, break down all your kingdoms, take all your crowns, and he's going to run a righteous kingdom. And the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the Israelites, they're going to be running it with him. Same way we're on the bottom, that's going to be reversed. We're going to be on the top. Same way you're on the top, that's going to be reversed. You're going to be on the bottom. And I wanted to also get, because you have that, they got this saying, what goes around comes around. What goes up must come down, all this crap. Karma, they call it karma. Yeah, y'all going to get all that. Y'all going to get that, man. Y'all going to get that work. Job 34 and 29, to go with that Galatians 6 and 7, because it says that a man soweth, but that also goes into a nation of people, because that man Esau has a nation, and that nation is the so-called white man. It says, when he giveth quiet, this is Job 34 and 29, when he giveth quietness, who can make trouble? This is talking about the Lord here. And when he hideth his face, who then can behold him? Whether it be done against a nation or against a man only. So see, the Lord, he deals with countries, or he deals with nations of people, and he deals with those individuals within those nations, because the Lord is in control of all things. And see, this right here is a beautiful thing right here, because look, restrooms, and I don't know why Martin Luther King was fighting so hard, man, to integrate us with these people, man, because that was a huge mistake, and he realized it at the end. Well, here you go, man. This stuff right here wasn't that long. Here's the sign right here, says Negroes must stay in colored town after dark. And I got this on one of our boards that we have out on the highways and byways when we go out on Saturdays with the 12 tribe sign. See, whites only. Help wanted, white only. We want white tenants in our white community. We serve whites only. No Spanish, no Mexicans. See? And that's how you know that the so-called Hispanics, Native Americans, Latinos, Dominicans. Hey, those are the tribes of Israel as well. They went through the same curses that the so-called blacks have gone through. We all have the same common enemy, the same common things that's going on within our communities, man. Poverty, sickness, just, women are out of control, bunch of damn abortions, drugs, just all kinds of problems, man. All those plagues that was placed on us by Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. But those things are starting to fall on our enemies now. See? Whites only. We serve whites only. Whites only. Hey, see? So when Jake starts to do stuff like this, it's just weird. Now all of a sudden it's racism. Now all of a sudden it's this outcry. And then you'll have people that'll tell you, well, that was long ago. But they'll still celebrate 1776, 4th of July. And this was just like a generation or so ago, man. Some of our grandparents are still alive, man, from this crap. Oh, I remember that. Straight up, man. This area for whites only. See, I mean, come on, man. This wasn't that long ago. You got a white only's beach. Jake can't even go out and have a swim, man. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on this because, like I said again, these curses are starting to be reversed on you, you so-called white people. All that stuff that you've sown, and you should be dreadful, man. You should be feeling dreadful because the things that you've done is gonna come back in 100-fold type of way, man. Because see, what you got to understand, when you plant something, you might put one seed in the ground, but you're gonna get what you want out of it is 100-fold. If you put one seed and you looking, you looking to get 10, 12 stalks of corn out of it, or 8, 9, 10 tomatoes off the vine, just from your little, that little amount that you put in, you're gonna get a lot out of it. That's what planting is. And see, you so-called white people, you planted and planted and planted. Now some of those trees, though, now your apple trees are starting to bloom and pop out apples and give us pears and oranges. Those things that took a while to grow. You see, now those things are starting to come to fruition, and it's not going to be pretty for you. Now it's coming to a point of your whole nation being destroyed. That's why you guys got so much even your abortion rate is crazy. Drugs are demonizing your communities now. See, because you as a people, you push that on us. Jake couldn't get affordable housing in certain places. Now your ass is living out of an RV in a damn Walmart parking lot, man. Your drug rates are through the roof. Your suicide rates are through the roof. Everything that you stole and that you lived so luxurious off of for hundreds of years, now it's starting to just fade and diminish, man. And we root it on. That's why we pray every day for the downfall of Babylon the Great. Hey, if you're a Christian, so-called, and you praying for this place, this wicked, nasty-ass place to go forward, that's just complete wickedness, man. You should be praying to the Lord that the Lord destroys this place. Here you go. You got these people. They done gave you white Jesus, beat it into your people. And hundreds of years later, our people still believe that their Lord is a white guy. They've done all kinds of stuff. All kinds of atrocities, man. All in the name of sweet white baby Jesus that came and damn near killed off all the so-called Native American Indians, which is that the tribe of Gad. That troop is going to win in the end, though. That's a prophecy as well. That troop going to win, man. Yeah, you so-called white people, man, you got, hey, I wouldn't even want to be. You couldn't give me the earth to be a Edomite. No, I'd rather be just damn trash than to be an Edomite, man. Hell no. Because that's not going to be a pretty look, man, for you guys in the kingdom. Y'all, ooh, it's going to be so brutal. But anyway, with that, I pray that this lesson was edifying. Kwame Yashala.